G'day folks, we're going to have a look at something a little bit different today. I picked this up at the scrapyard for 20 bucks. It is a virtually new kiln. Small electric, 2.4 kilowatts. It's even rated at a maximum of 10 amps, which is quite surprising for something with that many heating elements in it, but I'm guessing it just takes an ungodly amount of time to heat up. Had all this stuff inside. There's some pottery supply materials, probably glazing compounds I'd guess. I can look them up later anyway. That's a Zircosil 5, so zircon silica. That's silica 200M, I'm guessing 200 micron, and kaolin HRI. So yeah, there's also some standoffs and things for inside there, little thing for sticking a vase or whatever on. It only goes up to 1000 degrees, so I don't know if that's hot enough to actually do proper pottery, but I don't know. The last time I did pottery I was about, I don't know, a kid in high school, beginning of high school. I went on to tech classes after that, which were very basic anyway, metal and plastic work. So yeah, I haven't done pottery since year 7. And that was a while ago. That's thermostatic control. It's a Shimada control. And yeah, it goes up to 1000 degrees tops. That also has various temperature controls or something, so I really don't know what the correlation is between them, but there is an instruction book with it, so I'm going to get that out of the plastic bag and have another look at it. But for now I just want to put power to it and see what it does. I'll set it to low or something and just see what activity I get, if it's even any good. It looks fairly cheap, so I'm guessing it's Chinese. I better fix one of the hinges too. It has been bent when they dumped it at the yard, but if I can tap that hinge back straight it should seal up properly. But some of the KO wool from the door housing is missing. And no, this isn't asbestos, this is KO wool. I worked with this stuff for many years in the foundry, about 5 years. They always said it was non-carcinogenic, and even the MSDS said avoid inhalation, but it's not actually carcinogenic. But from what I know, it is a aluminosilicate fibre, so it's like glass fibre made out of aluminum oxide and silica. So yeah, it's probably quite nasty, and I'm probably going to die a horrible death from working in a foundry. The amount of this shit I used to breathe in, it'd make a lot of OH&S nuts go weak at the knees. So yeah, it's not the best shit, but it's not asbestos. And I just got to probably peel a little bit off the inside here where it's not so important and stick it up there. That's just had one layer stuck to it and that's it. But I can buy this stuff in boxes. You can buy it online or something. I can't remember who sells it, but I think it's made in Korea by one of the major chemical manufacturers. Well, just plugged it in and turned it on, so in theory, oh, we are getting heat. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. It is cycling though, so let's turn on high, and I'll bring this up to 500 degrees and let it run for a bit. I did find some fiberglass just to patch that top bit for now, but oh yeah, that's getting hot already. I should put this on the amp meter so I can see what it's doing. I'll turn you off just for now, but I can already feel the heat coming off that. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. Okay, I think I left my amp meter box at Brad's place, so let's just run it as it is. I mean, if it's pulling too many amps, it'll trip the circuit breaker. And the temp control is working, that needle's come up a little bit. So we'll just go high. Set it a bit lower, and 400 degrees should be adequate. A little bit hotter than your average oven. It is a cheaply made unit, but it looks pretty good. Yeah, it's sealed well enough. I had a few people comment on the old multimeter. It is an old Micronta one. It's held together with duct tape, but I got this when I was a kid. I was maybe 10 years old. I can't remember really. I really don't know. I've got my first soldering iron, my first multimeter, and some other electronics equipment. Dad bought it for me. And yeah, it served me well. It's still accurate. Still every function works. Only blown it up once. Trying to test power when it was on ohms, and all it did was blow a fusible link inside. So I replaced that and it's perfect. So I'll let this thing run for a bit and see what happens, but it should. Oh yeah, you can feel the heat coming off that. Looks like all of the elements are working. Even the bottom ones are showing a bit of red. Mad. You can stick a little crucible of lead in there and grab it out with some tongs after a little while. I hate to think what kind of power bill this thing would rack up, even though it's only a 10 amp plug. The lead's not getting hot, although I am running an short extension lead. When your lead gets hot and floppy, then you know you're pulling a lot of amps. And that's the other alternative to having a proper amp meter on it. You just see how hot and soft your power lead gets. Otherwise, yeah. Oh, we'll let this thing run for a while. The temperature's coming up. We're at 100 degrees already. Oh, it's only been about 4 minutes and we're already up to about 230 degrees. And unfortunately it's not a manual, it's just duplicates of the original fax. But this stuff here is for making kiln wash. I'm guessing you paint the fire bricks with it. It says 1 kilo of kiln wash, make 500 grams of kaolin, 300 of silica, 200 of zircosil. Add water, mix to thin paste and apply with a sponge or a brush. So I'm guessing that's for conditioning the fire bricks or something. I'm not going to do anything with it yet, but hopefully there's someone out there who likes this sort of stuff and can tell me exactly what it means. Either that or actually call Clayworks during business hours and find out for myself. Because a lot of these companies are still in operation. This email's from this fax is from 1996 from Steve and Michelle Adamson in Queensland. And it's just instructions for using the Craftek kiln, setting the control, verifying that it's accurate, which I think is what the balance between these is supposed to be. You set that to between 2 and 3, I think it is, and set that to 250, and it should cycle on and off. So that's a simmerstat, that's the total actual temperature. So yeah, I think it's just for calibrating it, and if it's not in calibration it just recommends calling an electrician and getting them to look at it. And knowing what some electricians around here are like with appliances like this, they'll just look at it and tell you it's broken and you should throw it out. Which may have even been what happened. Hell, if some electricians or even air conditioning technicians look at an air conditioner with a blown run capacitor or something silly like that, they just throw it out and sell them a new one. But that's just a throwaway world. That's why I've got a brand new kiln sitting here, which is, well, it was thrown away as scrap metal, just like a dead fridge. Actually, I found it next to a dead fridge. How about that? Originally I thought it was just a miniature dryer or something, but when I tried to pick it up out of the scrap pile, it was a lot heavier than I thought, and I realised it was actually a proper kiln or some kind of oven. So yeah, just because it looks like a generic appliance, don't just walk past it, have a good look, because you might find something cool like this. Now, what temperature up to? Almost 250. It'll get slower as the temperature rises. The initial temperature rise will be one thing, but the actual high temperature output will be another thing altogether. Especially if you do something like open the door. And I still need to line that door up properly. That's the only thing, they threw it onto the pile and actually buckled everything. Oops. Oh, it's nice and hot. It really needs a latch at the top and the bottom and pull the door straight, because that'll close up better. And I'm not feeling any heat coming out there though. And these things, I'm guessing they're just standoffs for whatever pottery you put in there. Well, up to 550 degrees, and I think we succeeded in melting lead. Yep. But rule of thumb, don't use wheel weights that have sticky backings on them, because there's a lot of black smoke coming out of there. It will burn off eventually inside, but it's just a bit unpleasant. Yeah. Oh well, it'd make a handy little lead smelter if, well, if you're living like me where it's total fire ban and you've got air conditioners running everywhere. And I tell you, it's sealed, but it puts a bit of heat into this room. Well, tin shed I should say. I think it's time I turned it off, let it cool down, and turn my air conditioning back on, because it's getting hot in here. So that can go off. And we'll turn the big, almost 9 kilowatt system on. There we go. Fired up straight away. Oh well, that's a nice little find considering there's nothing wrong with it. Thanks for watching.